I'm working on a lot of things. I'm very, very busy right now. Matter of fact, let me go check. Gotta check something real quick. But I want to talk about something that I want to talk about sacred things, things that are sacred. Like today, like in general, we tend to think that nothing's sacred. That, you know, everything, that there's no limits, there's no borders, there's no there's just no limits. Like we can do it because there's no consequences. I mean, like sometimes, you know, it's not even so much about doing the right thing as it is just don't do the wrong thing. I mean, sometimes it's not, you know, you don't have to, you know, sometimes you don't have to help a situation, but you just don't have to do something wrong on the situation to be, you know, it's like, okay, you know, if you saw somebody getting killed, right, you wouldn't, if you didn't save that person's life or like being attacked by somebody, you know, nobody can really hold you accountable, okay? But if you do anything to, like, if you give the person a knife, then you're accountable. Like, if that happens, you know? What I'm trying to say is, we tend to think that nothing, you know, it's like certain things, all right, let me say it like this. Certain things you just don't touch. You know? It's like, it's sacred. You just don't touch. It has more value to it than what you realize. I want to bring this situation up. There was a part where there were these people, they were giving in a it was tithing. This came up a while ago. So they were tithing, and everybody, here's $5. $5. This illustrates my point. You see this $5 is nothing but $5. But in the hand of a rich man, this $5 mean like nothing. It's not, you can blow snot in his nose, right? In the hand of a starving person, though, or an Ethiopian, or let's say, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Somebody who's suffering or doing just need $5. This is like the whole world, right? It's all changes. Like if you go to a different country and a province, you could live probably like a month off of this $5, right? So certain things have different values. You know, it could be the same thing, but it has a completely different value. Okay, and sometimes there was a situation where a woman came up and she had 2 pennies and she put the 2 pennies in the tithe. And there were all these other people that were rich and they had beautiful clothes, they had everything, and they put a lot of money in the tithe. Lots, just to show how much. And Jesus said to them, he said, the lady right there, that poor lady, she says, what she gave was more than everybody else here. Why? Because they gave out of their surplus. This person gave out of their sacrifice. Sacrifice. You know, you don't know what somebody sacrificed to get that 2 pennies. You don't know what it took to get that $5 or $5,000. You know, $5,000 in a rich man's hand is nothing. But $5,000 to somebody who really, really, you know, had to sacrifice. You know, there's a whole different system. So the value in it is what they had to go through in their life. Like somebody could buy a car, right? And it's nothing. They just buy, oh, go get me a car. Go get it. Where somebody might have worked worked years to get it, right? After they bought it, starved for a year. You know, I mean, they could have sacrificed. I mean, and that sacrifice, the things that they did, the right values that they exercised in order to get that $5. You know, they might have gone hungry in order to save that, to get that. That's a sacrifice. That's a value that is placed in that. And you would never know it. You would never know it. You just think it's just a little something, something, something. There ain't nothing to it. You know? It's just sitting there. There ain't nothing to it. You know? Never even think about, you know, that's a, I've had people walk in my house, and sometimes I drop change, and they pick up the change on the floor. Or you know what? They destroy everything that they have, and then go and pick up something of yours. You know. So what I'm saying is like there are certain things, you know, that you need to consider the true value. You know, it's not right to take anything you want from anybody. Certain people, you should not take them stuff from them. You know? Some woman may have sacrificed. You know, when you take somebody's iPod, they might have had a parent, a mother, that sacrificed in order to get that iPod for their child so that they can have something, because they never had nothing in their life. And they wanted to see their child, and they might have sacrificed the scrub floors that people talk abusive, and it is the value that they could do that, the love that they could do that they could do, you know, that quality in them that allowed them to make that sacrifice. And that love is something that God looks at, the value of that sacrifice. The sacrifice, the value, the love, the discipline, the patience, the diligence. Those are the things that are in that little $5 that the Lord respects. So when you go and in prayers, they might have been praying about it. Lord, please let me have it. Let me have it. And you take it and give it to the dogs. People who aren't willing to sacrifice. You know? People who aren't willing to sacrifice. Marriage is a sacrifice. And there are certain things that you have to abide by to get it right. To do right. There are people who sacrifice and raised their children and went through all kind of sacrifice. And then we're going to take it and give it to people that aren't willing to do what is necessary to be the values that are needed. The true values. Obedience. You know, some people don't. Some people, if I ain't happy, I ain't come get, you know, not a bit of sacrifice in it. Well, it's what I want, it's what I feel like doing. You know what? Sometimes, like I say, you know, sometimes, I need to do another vlog. Sometimes it just takes not doing the wrong thing to do the right thing. You know, it's just like, if you just don't do the wrong thing, you've done the right thing. That doesn't even take any extra effort to do the right thing. That's all I gotta say. I'll come back a little bit later. I got some work to do, and I don't really need to be distracted right now, and I get a lot of distractions at times like that. So anyway, I talked long enough. It's about 10 minutes. I don't know what to call this, but God bless you. God bless you all. Jesus sacrificed all. So out of him was goodness, purity, all the right things. And God honored that sacrifice. And he sacrificed for you. You know. And we don't have a lot of those qualities, you know. So it's love, you know. you know, if you love each other, treat each other right. You know, do the right thing. Be responsible for what you're doing and what you've been given jurisdiction over. God bless you all. Love you all.